keep going.
Hello, my name's Jack Moores, and today we're going to be talking about the new film Arcane. Arcane is a mystery film and it's about two opposing characters. First, the detective. Okay, so the detective is trying to uncover the murder. He's doing it in his own hands, so he's a vigilante, and he's going around the villain's murder, who is trying to cover up some of the old evidence that he did in his past murders. So today we're going to be going behind the scenes and talking to some of the key cast and crew. First of all, Matt Russell, who is the director, and producer Connor Chakosky. Thank you.
Lionsgate looked to be the prime choice for the media production company to distribute our work, just because not only have they done larger scales like films, they also do these smaller independent ones like our film. And just for an example, they've done films such as The Expendables and The Hunger Games, so it's actually, if they did go with us, it would be quite an honour. But we know that, as they've specified in these smaller independent works, we know that they would know how to advertise it and market.
We want our audience to be fans of slower paced films, and that's because we want to resemble the actual pacing of a real life investigation. So that basically means that there won't be as much action as someone might expect from a mystery film. Instead, we want to go for a much slower pace it's more similar to films like Seven or Silence of the Lambs, as opposed to Bad Boys or Miami Vice, which have action running out all the way through, and it's primarily an action film.
The way that I would say our media product does challenge these codes and conventions is that, unlike typical media products, we show a lot of the storyline off, whereas you would normally see snippets of what's to come, and they would typically use a lot of montage editing to only tease you in. So we had two storylines running in the background, so that we cross-cut between each storyline, and so that we could give the audience a chance to actually get a feel of what the characters were like and sort of grow a bond with them without watching the whole film.
One of the hardest things about the opening sequence was filming the time lapses, and that's because we had 3 of them throughout the opening, and all of them took a long time to film because we were filming on 24 frames per second. We had about a 4-second interval in between each shot, and we also wanted them to last for about 6 seconds on screen, so that each one took roughly around 10 minutes to record. So anyone getting in front of the shot could have ruined it, because then there would have been a flash of them on the shot. So we had to try and make sure that no one could get in front of the shot, and this really restricted the areas we could shoot at. But even shooting in the forest, there were still many people walking their dogs that we had to try and avoid, so I think this was one of the things that we had to overcome during the filming. Originally we underestimated just how difficult it was going to be to make a 2-minute opening sequence. When we first started planning, we had 4 production shoot schedules, and each of them were for different days, some of which were including car shoots. And at the time we didn't realise how ridiculous this was, and we didn't realise how difficult it was going to be just to get a standing shot, let alone one in which the car was moving. Eventually we found out that for every 5 shots we took, only about 2 were actually usable, and then you got into the editing and we would have to change every little keyframe just to get the right animations, so it took a lot longer than we thought.
Thank you for having me.
So James, what did you learn about technology in the pre-production and production stage?
We started blogging on a website called Edgeblogs, but many people didn't like the layout, so we tried Blogger, but there was a problem where you couldn't access it in school. So many of the people I know moved on to Weebly.
Elaborate.
We just had to get to grips with editing, and this meant learning techniques like colour correcting and arranging the clips in continuity order. We also had to animate the titles because we felt like it made it more professional.
How about the filming?
We also had to look how to make film footage. This meant filming in 24 FPS, doubling the shutter speed and filming the right aspect ratio. We also had to use lighting to our advantage.
Now we go to our next member of cast and crew. Bet you didn't recognise me without my glasses on. Yes, I was the costume designer and location manager. But maybe I should put my mask back on because I was also the spade-wielding psychopath entering the woods. I bet you didn't see that coming. So now it's time for the final part of the show, question time. Alright, so can I get the questions that they've been sending in, please?
Okay, this is from @JimTheWhale. How did you attract your audience?
Well, the purpose of having a detective in the opening sequence was to introduce investigation. Although the detective doesn't find any substantial evidence, we're given an insight into both the characters' lives. The purpose of the opening sequence itself was to give away a lot of footage, but not too much that the audience can work it out straight away. We wanted the audience to actually try to give it some effort to try and work the plot out itself. Okay, can I have my next question, please?
Okay, @GherkinBoy sent in, how does media product represent particular social groups?
Well, I think society is very important to the film of Arcane. This is because both of the characters are pretty much outcasts, really, and the detective character is ongoing an investigation that he shouldn't be, sort of a banned investigation, and the villain, he's trying to escape as a bad guy, but he's being stopped by the detective. I think it's going to be quite difficult for both of the characters to rejoin society, especially the villain.